BG Voices is brought to you by the following sponsors. Board and Dice designs and publishes family and strategy board games. Two of their most recent releases are Talatum and Terracotta Army. They have recently launched their ally program to lend support to underrepresented voices in the hobby. World Series of Board Gaming in Las Vegas, September 24th to the 28th. It has 16 different games to compete in, an open gaming library, and a grand prize of $25,000. So there's something for you if you're a casual gamer or a competitive one. For tickets, check out WSBGVegas.com. Use referral code OFPG23 for a $40 discount off the Stay and Play or Quadruple Ring event packages. Hi everybody, I'm Starla.
I'm Mick.
And we are
Our Fan Plays Games. Voices, yeah!
And we are back for another week.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are with some exciting stuff. I'm really excited for this episode.
Yes.
Really am.
And we're still celebrating Women's History Month and International Women's History Day.
Yes,
and
yes.
all those things are going on this month.
And it's going to be some good segments on this show.
Yes.
From top to bottom. And I can't wait.
Yes.
I cannot wait.
So we're going to kick everything off with Marcus Ross from Water Bear Games with his Designer's Corner. And Marcus is going to talk about how you make money for your game.
Okay.
You know, how to craft it and what materials you can use. And he actually shows you how to do it.
Oh, really? Yeah, because sometimes you get some crazy money looking and you might want to pimp it up a little bit. You might want to do that. Yes.
And then we're going to follow him up with another episode of School by Group from Dr. Tanya Pobeda.
Yes.
And she's going to discuss trans inclusion in the board game hobby.
Yes.
And she kind of reflects on International Women's Day as well.
That's an important topic.
It is.
Important topic, especially the first one.
Yes.
You know, especially in this day and age. And she's going to be dropping the knowledge. I'm excited.
Always.
And
then we're going to wrap it all up with the panda herself, Amanda Panda,
with
Panda Talks. And she has on her show today, Casey from Brain in a Jar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brain in a Jar.
She and Casey, they're talking about women in board gaming, you know, female game designers, in some of the games they've worked on.
Amanda Panda, she just keeps coming.
Oh,
just
she has
keeps
the
doing
best
her thing.
interviews. She has great guests. We just love having her segments on our show.
Yes, we do. Yes.
Yes.
Now, but first, family, this is an important one. Starla is going to do her Good Human segment, and it's important. So definitely take a listen.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another segment of Good Humans. Today's subject is I am woke. Yeah, I said it. I am woke. And if you're unclear about what woke means, please let me enlighten you. Woke means awaken to the needs of others, to be well informed, to be thoughtful, compassionate, humble, empathetic, and kind. Someone who is woke is eager to make the world a better place for all people. And that's me. And I hope it's you, because I'm proud of the fact that I am woke. Now, if you're opposed to being woke, I'd like to know what the alternative is. To be asleep? Well, someone who is not woke is selfish and inconsiderate. It's someone who doesn't care about or respect the lives and rights of others. To be someone who is closed-minded, uninformed, and unable to accept new ideas. Someone who doesn't want to progress. Someone who doesn't want to see others do well. Now, I'll be woke any day of the week if not being woke is the alternative. Now, I encourage you to know what woke means. Don't listen to pundits or other people who don't know what the word means, and they're just throwing it out as some kind of, term. They don't really have a definition for it. They're just saying things and trying to make it negative. Those who would lead you to go against your own best interests and the best interests of society as a whole, those people are not woke. And they can actually be dangerous. So be aware of what the word means. And if you agree with what woke means, be woke. Don't be the alternative. And as we always say here at OFPG Voices, our goal is to make this world a better place, one board gamer at a time.
Hello, this is Marcus Ross with Waterbear Games, and I've got a brand new Designer's Corner segment for OFPG Voices. This time, it's how to make money as a game designer. Let's just say you're working on a prototype, and you've identified a need to have currency in your game. Well, one thing you could do, if you both hate your players and yourself, is to just grab a copy of the nearest Monopoly game you've got lying around, and cannibalize the paper money. You certainly could just take all the bills out, slam them on the table, and force everybody to play with those. If you do this, you need to know that players hate paper money. The paper is usually thin, sticks together, is hard to count out and make change with than with all your common alternatives. So, if you really love that form factor, what I'd suggest is at least using a heavy cardstock so the bills are easier to handle. This is especially helpful if the denominations need to be hidden. So then for instance, The Godfather uses this technique for its money. It's printed on playing cards at playing card size with uniform card backs. It's far easier to deal with than regular paper, and I'm surprised more games don't use this. But if you appreciate your players at all, I would suggest getting some metal coins, like the Scythe coins, while you're currently working on your game in development. Another alternative would be borrowing some chipboard tokens from another game. So find a game that's similar to yours and uses similar dollar amounts, and then repurpose the chipboard cash. Now, when I get a prototype to a far enough place that I want something a little bit more immersive, I design my own token graphics and to match the feel and theme of my game. This is kind of an involved process, but if you have the time and the inclination, it's worth the payoff. It is going to require a little monetary investment on your part as well. I start with designing in front and the back graphics for my token. This is CardMaker for Windows. I set a circular border inside a 1 1/4 inch square box for my 1 1/2 inch circle tokens. I repeat the graphic to fill the standard page, and I print one page of all fronts and another page of all backs. I usually print these in black and white on colored paper, which gives you the ability to differentiate between the different types of tokens without having to spend real money on color cartridges or color printers and inks. It's most important that the graphics are printed in a horizontally symmetrical pattern. That way the fronts and the backs match up. I make sure to add some registration marks so that when the front is placed over the back, I can be sure they line up perfectly. To do this, I use this light box I picked up at Five Below for just $5. I poke some thumbtacks through the sheets to ensure I can line them up later. So for this, I use these blank chipboard sheets I found at Michael's for 99 cents. I mean, they're really cheap. And then I glue the first sheet to the chipboard with a glue stick, and then put the flat tacks through the holes that I made in the paper and straight through the chipboard so the ends poke through to the other side. After that, it's pretty simple to just line up the second sheet of paper with those holes, and then with the tack ends, and just glue that down so it's aligned perfectly in place. At this point, I have a very thick sheet of chipboard with 2 layers of paper glued onto it. There's no way to cut these out with a pair of scissors that will be uniform and leave clean lines. And if I did square rectangular tokens, I could use an X-Acto knife and a straight edge, and that will work, but I generally prefer circles. So I use something called an arch punch. I fully admit I stole this idea from Antoine Bauza. I saw him do it on a video once. So for this, an arch punch is basically a circular die made of metal with a sharpened edge. At this point, you also need a 3-pound sledgehammer, a cutting mat to protect your surface, and some form of ear protection because this is loud. Alright, so first you line up the arch punch edge with the token that you want to punch out, and then you just pound the crap out of it with a hammer. I tried to do this on my table, and it just bounced up and down too much. It wasn't cutting all the way through, and I was afraid it would break the table if I pounded any harder. So I ended up moving the whole thing to the floor, and then I made sure that this Dollar Tree cutting mat that I bought was always between the punch and the floor to protect both the punch from the floor, and the floor from the punch. It takes a couple strikes, but when it's done right, you leave a hole in the chipboard sheet where the token's been punched out. The token kind of stays in the arch punch. It's tight fit at the cutting edge, so the easiest approach to getting it out is actually just to punch another one. And you just keep moving the arch punch and punching holes through the sheet, and they eventually will release themselves just out through the top of the arch punch. When you're done, you've just got a whole stack of circular tokens perfectly cut out, good for money or victory points, whatever else you might need. So that's it. My suggestions for your prototypes is to If you need money, just use cards, borrow some chipboard tokens, but please, please, please don't use paper money. All right, thank you very much. Goodbye.
In this March episode of Schooled by Gru, I wanted to talk about something that's really important to me, and that's the board game hobby and trans inclusion. This is Toronto's Yonge Street during the Pride Parade. This is the city where I'm from, and that's Justin Trudeau, our Canadian Prime Minister, marching in that parade. Just a couple years earlier, I was in that crowd, and I've been incredibly upset watching the number of anti-LGBTQ+ legislative and other efforts designed to prevent LGBTQ+ full participation in society. I'm recording this video on International Women's Day, and this morning, our Prime Minister, I live in Canada, talked about the disturbing rise in anti-transgender hate, both here in Canada and around the world. And he said, I want to be very clear about one more thing. Trans women are women. We will always stand up to this hate whenever and wherever it occurs. I really applaud this. More leaders need to speak up. More leaders in the board game community need to speak up about trans inclusion. Everyone, every single one of us deserves to feel safe, included, and have the full rights to participate in the communities and cultures in which they live. We all deserve a space at the table. Trans men are men, trans women are women, and non-binary people are non-binary people. And it's so important that we all feel safe and included in every space we exist within, particularly in play spaces. And what's wonderful about the board gaming hobby, as I will show you, is trans people, people who do not identify as cis women or cis men, exist in abundance in our hobby, and it's better for it. I allowed the respondents for my PhD dissertation research on board games and representation to self-identify their gender. And what you can see here is an incredible spectrum, because gender is a continuum, not a binary. And you can see this incredible diversity of gender identification in the respondents. Don't forget that the people who responded to my survey also reported that they board game 70.7% at least once a week. So this is a diehard community of board games. And look at the gender diversity of board gamers in this sample. You can see here that we've got 18.4% of the respondents in this diverse sample saying that they have a different gender identity than a cis man or a cis woman. So board gaming is a diverse community. Respondents shared that they had been misgendered while participating in the board gaming hobby in public or private spaces, with 5.1% saying they strongly agreed with that, and 12.7% saying they agreed. That's 17.8%. A lot of survey participants talked about the pressure that can often come from being the only person of a particular identity at the table. In this comment, it says, I helped establish a board gaming club that prided itself on being welcoming and inclusive, having equal male and female members, but we weren't perfect. Had a few BIPOC members and struggled to find a venue accessible to people with disabilities. While I know some Black gamers and some trans gamers, I think they often have to carry a lot of burden for being the only person of that characteristic in the gaming world, and that's unfair on them. I know that human beings are amazingly complex. We have hopes and dreams for our lives. We want to become our authentic selves. Trans people are people. They deserve to be part of our hobby. They deserve to be part of our neighborhoods, our societies, our countries, our world. Here's a wonderful quote from the Danish painter Lily Elbe, who was born in 1882. There was a film made about her called The Danish Girl. And she says, each step forward to become the person we are makes it harder to go backwards, to return to the shadowy private world of closed doors and shuttered windows. The experience, the awakening of one's true self after being so long suppressed, can never be adequately explained with language. That's Lily Elbe, born in 1882. Trans people have always been a part of our world. I love my friends and family, neighbors who are trans. It's so important to the board game hobby for its full flourishing to welcome everyone, to be as inclusive as possible in this joyful, wonderful hobby we have. Thanks so much for listening to my March episode of Schooled by Gru, where I reflect on the importance of trans inclusion in the board gaming hobby. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Panda Chat, where Panda is chatting with awesome people in the board game industry. Today it is my friend Casey, aka Brain Jar. Hi Casey!
Hello everybody!
So Casey, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hello Panda, I am Casey Gervin. I am a Mexican-American board game content creator. I do short form board game content on TikTok, which is where I got my start. And I've been doing content on there since November 2020. And then in April 2021, I also started doing live stream board game content on Twitch, where I stream board games with my partner, Johnny Deathhawk, sometimes solo and sometimes with awesome guests. I am super excited to be here with you, Amanda.
Awesome! Thank you so much for being here. March is Women's History Month, and so I decided, why don't we talk about 3 of our favorite female-identifying board game designers and developers, and some of their games. So Casey, why don't you start with your 3?
Oh, I'm so excited about this topic. I want to start with Min Stakova, and I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce the last name. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. And she designed Lost Ruins of Arnak, which is, of course, a worker placement game that is combined with deck building. And this is from Czech Games Edition. It is one of my favorite games. And in the game, you're playing as these explorers, going through ruins, getting all the artifacts, moving up a research track. It's so streamlined, plays in 5 rounds. It's one of those I always wish was around longer, but I absolutely love. And it kind of bridges that level of difficulty where you can introduce it to people who aren't, who are newer gamers with, some like holding hands and helping out and everything, but it has a lot of complexity to it. So like what you're doing is simple. You're playing a card, you're doing an action, turn passes, right? But the complexity is there. It has that replayability. With the expansion of the expedition leaders, one of my favorites.
So good, so good. Yeah. For my first female identifying board game designer out of 3, it is a combo. It is Marie Wong and Pauline Kong. Their game Steam Up, their very first game, just got to the Kickstarter backers. It is such a fun game, y'all. Of course, I backed it at the deluxe edition. I did 2 playthroughs for them, one before the Kickstarter, one during the Kickstarter. But it is a game about dim sum, which is amazing. Dim sum is one of my favorite foods. It's in Hong Kong. It started as a breakfast thing, but in America, it's like a brunch thing. And they even have like the steaming cups, and they have the squishy little buns and stuff. And you are playing different zodiac animals, trying to eat as much as you can, while you have grandparents that are forcing you to feed them first, or that will reach over the table and take your food. It is quite the fun little game, and it is going to get a lot of hype real soon because everyone's going to start playing it, and it is so much fun. Have you tried this one?
I have not tried it, and I'm kind of sad I didn't back it. I think that is such a cool theme. Do you think it's going to now be the winner for like the most edible food component, game components?
Oh, that is true. No, I think Azul still has that. I think
Azul's still going to have that.
Especially they have the chocolate version now. Yeah, I think Azul still is the winner. But this one, it's squishy, so I guess, it could be the second place.
You love the squishies.
Exactly.
I love the squishy game components.
What about your second female identifying designer?
My second female identifying game designer I want to talk about today is Amabel Holland. So the first game I played from Amabel Holland was Iberian Gauge. This is a train game. So for me, I really wanted to get into that train game genre. I was a little intimidated because there's so many, I don't know where to start, and they definitely can seem quite intimidating. So one of the beautiful things about Iberian Gauge, and honestly the whole train series, you have Irish Gauge and Ride the Rails as well from Capstone Games, is how short the rule book is. It's like literally a 2-page rule book. It's quite incredible, and it's so approachable that I was even able to teach my mom how to play. And
cool.
She won. She like kicked Deathhawk and mine's butt, and
Nice.
Probably because I was too collaborative with her, because one of the beautiful things about Iberian Gauge is that it has this collaboration in how you develop your rails. So if I'm trying to get to these cities, right, and there's already a rail to those cities, I can pay and collaborate with the owner of those rails to use their train to get to the city and then move on from there. I absolutely love that collaboration factor. And I hear that the other games in the series are quite different. So I can't wait to check them out. And on top of that, she also has the Field of the Cloth of Gold, which is a 2-player only game. I'm obsessed with 2-player games, so I have to try it. And this game I got to see at Dice Tower West this past convention called Islet. I actually got to see you play Islet.
I did.
And that is an instant buy for me. I'm obsessed. What did you think of it? Did you like it?
It's so simple, y'all. Basically, you're just rolling 2 dice, threading this shoelace through these holes, and you're trying to be the last person standing. And it's crazy, but you have to remember it is totally luck-based. Well, not totally, because you can kind of, you know, put your people to like a bad position. But it's a great little 2-player, quick-to-play filler that you can play basically anywhere. You can bring that little board.
I love. That is like the ultimate travel game.
Yeah.
It is so cool.
I was thinking,
oh my gosh.
I was thinking it would be great if you could fold it, like if it had little mini hinges and you could fold it up, right? It would be even more portable.
Let's talk.
Annabelle, let's do it.
What about you, Amanda? What is your second female identifying designer you want to talk about today?
Thank you for asking. It is Danielle Reynolds. Danielle Reynolds. She helped to design and develop Her Story, and she also did the eBay game. She has a lot of, you know, of her thoughts and wonderful creative ideas and a lot of different pies. She is the token gamer on a lot of the social media. Amazing person, so super talented, and I think we're gonna see a lot from her coming soon. And I'm just like, every time I'm surprised, like, oh, she did that. Oh, that's a great game. I didn't know she was, you know, developing that. So check out Danielle Reynolds' website. Check her out, her social media. She is just doing so many awesome and fun things all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I am so excited to try out Her Story. I have a copy of that I'm definitely getting played this month. And yeah, Danielle Reynolds is awesome. So definitely check out Token Gamer Girls.
And what's your last one?
The last female designer I want to talk about today is Tori Brown. So I want to talk about Tori Brown as a game that I'm most excited to play, and that's the game she designed for Votes for Women.
Yes.
So I backed Votes for Women like sight unseen, so I'm super excited. I have it in. I need to get it played. This is a card-driven game that's covering the American women's suffrage movement from 1848 to 1920, and it's beautiful, first of all. I'm obsessed with the theme. And I just really, I've been hearing fabulous things about how it plays. So I'm excited to see the rise and fall of my emotion as I experience this game with a very heavy theme that I cannot wait to explore. It's also, I want to see more themes like this. I want to see more thoughtful games that are looking at periods and events that have to do with women or minorities. So I'm so stoked to try out Tori Brown's new game, Votes for Women.
Just talking about Votes for Women. It's a game I really wanted to try and play. It looks really interesting, and but it does like start getting me to think about other stuff. Like suffragettes were mainly like, it wasn't a lot of working class women or the poor because they didn't have the time to do it.
100%.
And then I got into like the style of dress that they were wearing at the time, and how how really the very first people to actually start labor strikes were children. It was female children in the matchstick factories that did the very first strikes, and it's quite fascinating. So I love how games like this really start the conversation, start you thinking about things in a different way, and get you to learn more about the history surrounding this time frame, right?
100%. And there's like, I don't know, how many war games do we have about all these wars that men caused? I love getting a different story about something else, about a movement, about trials, and I can't wait to hear more. And you're right, the women's suffrage movement was predominantly white, wealthy women that are like producing this, right? And the people that are left out are the minorities, right? Are the Black women, are people of color, women who LGBTQ, all of these things. So I can't wait to see even more stories and hear even more about their movements and what's happened. Like, we need a game about Stonewall. Like, I just like all of these things would be very interesting for sure.
Absolutely. So my last designer, I'm gonna kind of I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna kind of cheat. So y'all know from my last contribution to Our Family Plays Games Voices, I had Emma Larkins on. She is an amazing board game designer, did Abandon All Artichokes, did Squabbling Goblins with Button Shy Games. Her new game, Starry Night Sky, is coming out soon, all about the constellations. And I'm very excited. Like she just has such an amazing brain for that. And then she was also talking about Fortessa, who is a contributor of Our Family Plays Games Voices. And Fortessa did Wicked and Wise with Weird Giraffe Games, and did Mansplaining from Breaking Games, and she's also contributing and helped developing games for Funko, and it's really
a lot of games for Funko too.
It's so amazing that we have such strong female presence that are just also welcoming but super talented. There's so many other designers, female identifying designers like Bez or
Nikki Valens.
Oh, Nikki Valens is absolutely amazing. Artisans of Splendid Vale. Oh
love
my
it.
goodness.
So
incredible. Good. Yeah. So, definitely go check it out. Elizabeth Hargrave has a website with a whole listing of other amazing women and the board games that they've developed, and you should definitely check it out.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Casey, for joining me. So what do you have coming up? Like, I know you just hit 1,000 followers on Twitch, so you have something special, right?
Yes, so we are celebrating our 1,000 followers and giving back to our community. So please come join our community if you haven't already. But we'll be doing an epic John D. Clare giveaway and stream week. It should be later this month. Keep an eye on my Twitter for major posts on when it's going to happen. But we are giving away so many John D. Clare games. It's unbelievable. So if you like Ready, Set, Bet, Mystic Vale, Edge of Darkness, Cubitos, all of these games, we're giving away a copy. So come hang out with us, watch us play some games, and we want to celebrate for sure.
Yes, and you can find her everywhere under Brain in a Jar. Please do check out her Twitch and Twitter and TikTok and all the social medias that is out there.
The 3 T's.
The 3 T's. You can follow me as Panda Angel everywhere as well. I will be doing a lot of streaming of board games. Hopefully I'll have more of these lovely female designers on to interview and to chat and play their games together. And if you have any suggestions of female designers or board games designed by female identifying designers, please put them in the comments and let us all find and explore more of this awesome side to the board game community. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Another great episode.
So all I want to say off the bat, your Good Human segment You brought it. You did your thing.
You gotta tell the truth.
You told the truth. You told
Yes.
the truth. But I love it. I love it.
You know, they say knowledge is power.
Yes.
And sometimes people don't have the knowledge. So
Yes.
we want to spread that knowledge so that they can have power and not be misled and go in the wrong
Yes.
direction.
So they can be better.
And be better.
So we can make things
people.
better.
Be good humans.
And be, have a better place to
Yeah.
live at.
I agree.
For everybody.
For everybody,
Yes.
yes.
And just like with, Dr. Tanya, what she's
Yes.
talking about.
Always says good stuff.
we must have the inclusion.
Yes.
And it's so scary how things are happening in this world, how they want to hurt the trans, folk, and that's not cool.
It's not.
It's not cool. Everybody's included.
Yeah,
everybody, come on.
There's a saying, live and let live.
Yes.
Yeah, people got to learn to stay in their lane
Yes.
and stop trying to control somebody else's
Stop
life.
trying to control other folk.
Yeah, what they do in their life is their business. Live and let live.
Yes, but she brought the knowledge.
She did.
And it
She
was
did.
good to see Casey.
Yes, from Rain in
Amanda.
the Jar,
Amanda
yes.
brought Casey. It was so good to see her. Thanks for coming on.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on, and thanks Amanda for doing your thing. I tell you, and Marcus.
Always.
Yes, we're tired of paper money.
No monopoly money.
We hate the paper money.
I mean-
and it's good that you can make your own.
Well, he shows us how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's just one way. But I think his biggest thing is to let people know you can make your games
Yes.
more elevated. You don't have
Yes.
to depend on just getting paper money.
No.
He just shows you different ways
Hate
and different
paper
ways
money.
to think about how to add money to your game in a way that, people will enjoy
Yes.
it.
Yes,
It'll
because-
be really good to touch and utilize.
Because
Yeah.
it's crazy how
Yeah.
there's modern board gamers modern board games that still have paper money.
I know.
And you have to get rid of it, and you have to buy other things like we have the iron clays
Yeah.
that we have to replace sometimes, and
Metal coins
metal
or something
coins
like
that you
that,
have to
yeah.
bring out because.
Yeah.
Paper money?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So Marcus did his thing
He
again.
did.
Yeah. We love everybody.
Yes,
we love
we
them.
do.
We love them.
And we want to say thank you to our awesome sponsors.
Yes.
Board and Dice.
Yes.
And the World Series of Board Gaming.
Looking forward to going to that.
Me too.
In September.
In September.
Yes. Now, Starla, what about our merch?
Well, if you're looking for a shirt
Yeah.
from OFPG Voices
Yes.
or Our Family Plays Games,
Yes.
check us out on Spring.
Now, family, we got a new episode coming on April 5th, so do not miss it. We got some great things coming up.
Yes, we
Great
do.
things coming up. Now, Starla, where can they find OFPG since you put down the gauntlet for this channel that we got to get 30,000 subscribers? Where can they find us so they can spread the word?
Well, if you're looking for Our Family Plays Games
Yes.
or OFPG Voices,
Yes.
you can find us on Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
Twitter, and right here on YouTube.
Yes. So, family, thank you so much for coming out and looking at these beautiful voices. Thank you for, hey, go out and support our channel sponsors, definitely. But thank you so much for coming again. But there's one thing we want you to always know. We love you. Bye now.
Everybody.